This episode is brought to you by Transcend Trails. Starting at Wallyunga National Park, traversing the Paruna Wildlife Reserve, and finishing at Cobbler's Pool, you will have access to some of the most stunning trails on offer in WA through the beautiful and untamed Avon Valley. But don't be fooled. Your body and mind will be challenged in ways you might least expect. Whether you're taking it on solo or enjoying a day on the trails with mates, race distances from 6K through to 65K offer an inclusive and unforgettable race experience for people of all ages and abilities. Transcend. Rise above and go beyond. The valley awaits. Find out more and enter now at transcendtrails.com, with entries closing midnight the 9th of August 2026.
Hi everyone and welcome to episode 001 of Trail to Transcend, the latest Warp training series following the 2026 edition of the Transcend Trails coming up on the Saturday 22nd of August. Once we saw Dayton Sproxton sprint up the hill toward the finish line last year, Simon and I were chatting and agreed that a training series covering all that goes into this incredible event was an exceptional idea. Now that we have reassembled a relay team for the 65K this year, and I've signed up solo with the intention of beating Dan Bowbridge's time from 2023 or 2024, I think this year is going to be a big year for Transcend. But we're not here to talk about us. We are here to talk to some absolute weapons this evening on the trails and learn all about them as they prepare to take on one of the toughest trail races in Australia. Across my screen, of course, I have my co-host Simon Pham with us this evening, the man famously afraid of the water. How are you, Simon?
I'm good, mate. The nightmares are coming back. Doing my one training session in preparation for Transcend and realizing that due to the heavy downpour of rain that occurred in the last week, that the creek of leg 2 was, a person like me could not cross. So, I've decided to sign up for leg 4 just in case. They looked like little puddles last year. So I can't remember who's doing leg 2 out of our team, but hopefully someone that knows how to swim. So, looking forward to being back and, looking forward to chatting to some weapons of the trails.
Yep, for sure. On the top of my screen, I have someone that Shane Johnstone introduced us to and speaks very highly of. Says she is one of the wisest and well-spoken people on the trails. Relatively new on the scene, but an absolute machine. Multiple podiums in the PTS series of late, including a win at Collie Trail Fest last year. Victoria Hunn, welcome to the WA Running Podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on your awesome show. And what an intro. Wow, thank you. Shane's an incredible runner and a big name in the sport. So I'm absolutely flattered and, pretty pumped to talk all things Transcend and trail running.
Yeah, wicked. There's definitely some things I'd like to get into but we'll leave it for a little bit later because you've done some incredible things recently with some big news, I understand, in the last couple of weeks. So, we'll get to that shortly. We also have here on the bottom of my screen one of the more down-to-earth blokes that Simon and I have met through our time on the podcast, kind of forever a figurehead of our community runs, even whether it's out at Rocky Ridge Brewing Co. in Duncraig or it's at the Running Centre in West Perth. This bloke shows up and he seems to think he might be the best bloke that's ever shown his face on this podcast. Michael Edgar, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, excited to be part of this. I obviously haven't been to as many of the community runs lately because I've moved house, but looking forward to talking all things trails. A little bit disappointed that Shane didn't give me a pump up. I've been on a few runs myself, but I'll let it slide with him.
Yeah, no, I think Shane. When I asked Shane for some names to put on this podcast, yours didn't feature in the top 4. I'll be honest, but But no, yeah, very excited to have you, mate. We've been talking together for a long time, and yeah, it's great to learn more about you. I think, yeah, no slouch on the roads yourself with a 122 at Busso Bay Run earlier in the year. Coming off the back of that with some recent results, looking forward to getting into those. What we might do is jump straight into your background, mate. I understand from our past chats you've played a bit of footy in the past, but have kind of transitioned to running over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. Maybe you can take us through it.
Yeah, I guess I thought I had like a fairly individual story in terms of how I went from footy and then kind of progressed to roads. But the more podcasts I listen to, it sounds like just about everyone played footy and then they ended up running a half marathon, and that's how they got into running. But yeah, I played a lot of footy through like my juniors and basketball, and through like all my 20s I played footy. I pretty much hated running, but that was because in footy you basically just run full gas, and that's all you do. I didn't know that there was this magical thing called easy running, which would basically increase your aerobic volume. So if I'd known that you could just go out and run at an easy pace and increase your fitness when I was in my 20s, I probably would have done a lot more of it, because yeah, just running 3-4 Ks as hard as you can to try and get fit for footy isn't a whole lot of fun, and doesn't make you really want to get out the door.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and then basically I was in my 30s and had some. I've had some few kids. As you do, fitness kind of falls to the wayside, and me and a friend had kind of agreed to get fit for a half marathon, and I went through, did my usual thing where I just run 3 or 4 Ks and just absolutely blast myself and go, there has to be an easier way than this. So I started reading some training theory, and you know, Instagram got spammed by Zone 2 influencers, and I started from the bottom, run walk programs, and yeah, just kind of went deep into the theory of running, and kind of realized that I actually did like it. So I just didn't like running really, really hard all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So we won't see you doing a track season, doing the 800 with me?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, shame.
Now, you gave up the footy. Was it for any reason other than hitting your 30s or having children, or were you just sick of being sore all the time?
Yeah, well, there's different soreness that you get on a Sunday. I definitely don't miss the sore joints when you basically play and then get on the beers every Saturday night with the boys. So I don't miss that. But yeah, I did play one season while I was running, and then I signed up for Margaret River, and I kind of just found myself more. If I was going to play footy, I was more worried that I'd get injured and not be able to run, rather than the other way around. So my as much as I love footy, I just kind of found that the love of running had kind of surpassed that for now. And I guess I'm coming into my prime in endurance sports and past my prime in football. So.
Yeah, very good. So I guess going from your first half, firstly, I guess what was that half marathon, and what then attracted you to go to Margaret River Ultra as a second race?
Yeah. So Perth Running Festival in 2024, I think it was. Played the footy season, and we're just to kind of running easy runs in between training volume and games as much as I could. And then when the footy season finished, put in a kind of proper block into that and ran that in, I think, run 133. And I thought that at the time, I thought that was rapid, which it is, don't get me wrong, but I didn't think I'd ever be able to run that fast. And then, yeah, I kind of had known about the trail scene, but and I knew that there was a race in Margaret River Ultra, and I just thought that I wanted to kind of challenge myself. And, that you hear of these kind of transcendent experiences that when you go on these ultras, and I kind of wanted to experience that and, push myself to the limit. And so I just saw that, and I thought I'd sign up, and thought that'd be a bit of fun. And I hadn't even really run on the trails yet. And then, yeah, in the process of training for that, I just kind of just fell in love with the trails, and in particular, probably just the training theory around it. It's a little bit different to roads. I like the the fact that every course that you do is slightly unique. I'm pretty competitive myself, and I kind of saw the road. If I just kept going down a marathon, I'd probably hit a plateau and then I'd get bored with myself. Whereas each trail run or each race that you do, it's got a unique challenge to it, whether it's, sand, or it's got a lot of steps, or, is it flat and runnable, or is it got, lots of big climbs. So each race is different. It's not tied as much to a time. And I think that kind of, I was really drawn to that in the competitive aspect. And it also, to me, it kind of always has felt a little bit more of a race, like a competitive race with others, which you don't kind of get unless you're Smithy at the front of the pack. It doesn't always necessarily feel like a race. It just feels like a time trial.
Yeah, no, totally fair assessment. But no, cool, mate. Good to, yeah, I guess there's something I'll get into a little later, but that first Margaret River Ultra must have been a bit of an eye-opener for you, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's a bit of a slog. The sand's not great, and I trained hard for that. And yeah, and to hear that Vic across the screen didn't have any endurance background and ran 30 minutes quicker than me kind of annoys me a bit.
Yeah, well, let's get it. That's a good segue to get onto Vic then. Now, from the questions we'd asked you prior to the show, Vic, you kind of got into running through commuting while you were living in London. Is that right?
Yeah, I wasn't a runner growing up. I was I did sport, like just various different sports, but definitely not a long distance runner. My legs are way too short, I was told, to be a very good runner. And so, yeah, about like 10 years ago or so, I was living in London, and it just seemed like a good idea to run to work, because I was riding to work when I was living in Perth previously, but thought cycling in London was probably a death sentence. So keeping my feet planted on the ground seemed smarter. So bought a running backpack, and it was only a few Ks. And because it was quite I was very lucky. I was living in central London, so there were so many sights and sounds, and it was quite an interesting commute. I wasn't really focusing on the pain and suffering of running, because a bit like Mike said, I think I never knew running was meant to be easy. I thought it was just, you're meant to just run fast. And I don't know how anyone enjoys that, especially when you're starting out and you've got no fitness. So cruising, just slow, easy runs. They were short, but they kind of got me into it. And then I suppose whilst I was living over there, there's so many events in London and Europe, and we found out about a marathon called Marathon du Médoc in France, where it was a marathon. So we definitely ran 42 Ks, but we stopped every mile to drink wine, dance, eat, and it was all in fancy dress. So it was just probably not your typical marathon that most people would do. And I think the goal, instead of trying to go for any sort of PB or anything, it was to try and just keep in front of the sweeper, so you could maximize your time on the course. So you had more time to drink and dance and eat. So probably different to other people's marathon targets. But it was a lot of fun. So I think working from my 3K run to work, I kind of just started to enjoy it, because I guess the fitness was there, just base fitness, and then would maybe just do a long run on weekends, but never really took running seriously or trained. I saw, you Google training plans and you see you're meant to do your fast intervals and your whatever, all the different runs in the week and strength work, but I kind of just picked what I wanted from the plans, which was just run. Do a long run weekends. So I don't know why I kept getting injured. So I didn't really take it too seriously, but just did stuff for fun. And then I had my 3 kids, and I tried to run through the pregnancies and afterwards, but it was difficult. I had hip pain and other things, so I just found it difficult to get back into it. But after my last pregnancy, I was like, no, I really like running. I want to get back into it, and found a great physio to help get me stronger again. That's when strength came into the program, which was a game changer, really. And then my goal was just to run really far. I just liked running, and I just wanted to keep running. And I don't think I even knew ultra marathons were a thing, or maybe if I had heard of them, I don't think I had ever dreamed that I would be able to do one. It just seemed like something crazy people would do, and fit people, not me, that hated running back in the day. And then, so like Margs was my first ultra. I was, a friend found me and said, Margaret River Ultra is open today. This is last year, for Margaret River last year, she's like, it opens quickly. You've got to sign up before it sells out. And I'm a yes person, so I'll say yes to anything, which is dangerous. I probably shouldn't have said that. But so I asked absolutely no questions, and I just signed up on the spot. Having never trail run, at that point in time, I still couldn't run much more than an hour without having like hip pain. So I was, I think over that day and actually the following days and probably weeks, I was just like, what the hell have I done? Like, I just like cycled through a roller coaster of emotions thinking, you're a nutter. Like, what were you thinking? But like, so it really did take a while for me to go, okay, no, look, I've done this. This is good. This is going to be great. I just have to train. So like, just get a training under wraps, like just work towards it, get my body strong enough to be able to run that far. Like I can do it. So I like got my physio on board, and a good friend kindly offered to coach me because I had no clue what I was doing. So I trained, and I think my main motivation was just to survive, and just preferably in as little pain as possible. The day itself was incredible. So I kind of went in not like in great form. I think I'd like done the Collie Trail Fest 10 Xterra not long before, and probably like just pushed myself a little bit hard. There was like the 3 big runs that weekend. So I didn't pull up so great after that. So I wasn't great going to Margs, but I was like, no way, I'm not doing it. And did it. And it was wasn't a big fan of the stand, like I said, but I had such a blast and learnt lots. I think I did all the things I was warned not to do, but just tried to hold on. And obviously haven't looked back. Just absolutely hooked now.
I guess, what does that strength training look like, I suppose, to get you ready for something like that, having not really done it before and having the kind of physical, the hip issues and whatnot in the past?
It was really just my physio kind of gave me a program, which initially was mainly working on like the problem areas, which is like probably not different to a lot of people, like, hammies, glutes, the usual. My core was not very strong as well after the pregnancy. So it was just like doing a bit of work just to get them all up to speed. I think when I first started seeing him, he said, like, you have kindergarten strength of your muscles. I'm like, oh, wonderful. That's really great. So I've graduated now. Apparently I'm at university level for some things. So it's like, that's nice. It's taken a bit of time.
Yeah, cool. I guess, 10,000 hours and you'll master just about anything. So, all right. Well, so 2025 Margaret River Ultra, I think you ran just a touch over 9 hours. And then this year you ran at UTA 100. I think you placed 13th, if I'm not mistaken, which is huge, which has earned you a qualification for the UTMB World Series Finals at CCC next year, which is incredible news, and probably a dream race for just about anyone who's into trail running. Maybe take us through that event, the preparation for UTA 100, the race, and maybe what your thoughts were now having received the news about the qualification.
It's crazy. It is like I'm still honestly in shock. UTA was 3 weeks ago now. It's a huge event. It wasn't something that was on my radar, to be honest. Like, I think having only been in the sport such a short time, there's so many local events I really want to do, and would like probably to have done before doing UTA. But I was encouraged to sign up. My family all live over in Sydney, so it was a great excuse to visit them and like run through a beautiful part of the country. And I think when I signed up, I'd actually never even run 100 kilometres before. So I was a bit presumptuous to assume that I could travel that way and do it. I think I'd only done margs. So I was, I don't even, I signed up anyway. It was crazy. When I signed up, I got a spot in the first wave, like the really good elite runners. And I thought, what, this is crazy. Like, what a mistake, but like, pretty cool opportunity. I'll just like hang at the back, take it all in, watch as like all the runners in the later waves like whiz past me. And I think the only reason I assume I got into that wave was because of my, I think at that time, by the time the waves came out, I'd done feral. So I'd done 100 Ks and I'd done well at feral. So it had given me a good UTMB index. So I thought, wild, but sure, like just go with it. This will be a bit of fun. And it was, and the event itself, spent a lot of time chatting and meeting new friends and enjoying the course and like the ladders, the water crossings and like the steep escarpments and waterfalls. Like it was very pretty. And the cramps kind of got me early and I just upped my fluid and salt, which helped drastically. So at the beginning I was like, oh no, this is not a good start. I've got so far to go. But I think like around the 95K mark, I cracked on a little and began to run a little more. I think I wasn't, wasn't going out to target anything. I was kind of hoping to come in under 15 hours maybe. Seems like a good, I don't know, you kind of just pick a number, don't you, and just go, okay, that seems like a good amount of time to pick for a distance I haven't done with that elevation before. So, and it was hard to train for that much elevation in Perth as well. So I was a little bit worried. And as well, going in, I wasn't, I'd only probably had a couple of weeks of decent training, just with different body parts failing me. So like I could run, but I wasn't able to really train. So I wasn't really expecting to do too much. Finishing was going to be good. And I think like a lot of people on the course, it's just making it to those last stairs because, your watch clocks to 100 Ks and then you've still got almost 1,000 steps up to the finish line. So that's always at the back of your mind, like don't want to run out of gas before you get there. I think it was like 95 Ks or so. I'm like, okay, I've got heat. I feel like I've still got a lot of energy. Let's just push a little bit. I did not stop chatting, but I did stop walking the hills. So I found a couple of guys wanted to run with me. So we ran I knew I was getting close and feeling okay. So the steps didn't seem that bad. But there was a lot of people on the course, like 50K, 100K and 100 milers. So, and it was dark and it's single track and you're on you're just trying to get through the stairs and like, I've got all this energy. I just want to finish this race. And you just got to wait for people. And they were like, so many people were really great, moving aside and, but anyway, like I got there, crossed the finish line, and was so happy to come in under 15 hours, which was what I was kind of like hoping for. At the time, had no idea I was just over 13 now. Well, I knew I was roughly like obviously 13 hours looking at my watch, but I didn't realize I was placed as well as I was. And certainly didn't expect to get the UTMB CCC entry from it. So, pretty chuffed and so grateful for the opportunity. It's probably not what I was expecting, and certainly probably would, if you could choose, I'd probably choose to do it a little later in my running career, so to speak, like maybe when I've trained a little bit more or feel a bit more confident with my abilities. But, it's such a great opportunity. How could I not? Yeah.
Totally.
So pretty cool.
Yeah. So like, I guess from having not a lot of trail background to then suddenly having a UTMB index and all these kind of like numbers and races and things that are kind of on offer, like how does like, I guess what has attracted you to the trails and what has taken you down this path of, pushing yourself to at 100 Ks? I mean, I'm just also thinking, the other thing about endurance running is like fueling, like getting fueling right. Like that's a whole thing that people seem to go through. It takes them years to learn, but you've picked it up in the space of like 18 months effectively. Maybe take us through that.
Yeah, I guess I don't and from a fueling point of view, I'm a dietitian, so that probably helps.
Oh. Nice.
So I appreciate the importance of being well fueled.
Very good.
Not that I work in sports, but I think, it's still a concept I realize is really important. Obviously, I think in an ultra, I don't think you can possibly consume the same amount of calories that you're burning, but you've got to try. And if you don't, you'll feel pretty bad. So, and that's around training as well. I think even if you don't fuel properly for training, I know I physically feel terrible, and mentally just like a bit of everything's a bit blurry. So, that's something I probably picked up pretty early. I thought that was important. And in terms of what attracts me to the trails, I suppose, it's just it's like you're in another world. I think. I mean, I love running. It's hard to explain why. I guess it's probably just the runner's high, I suppose. And I figure if I can run for 1 hour, why wouldn't you run for 13 or more? Or, where's the limit, right? Prolong the love. And I think I compared to when I run on roads, like road running, I feel it hurts. Like my body just doesn't feel good. My joints hurt, my body hurts. Trails just feel like it's just more chilled. You're kind of like away from reality, away from the buzz of everything. You kind of not running for speed or pace or PBs or anything like that. It's more just for you, like the nature, the fresh air, freedom. It's kind of refreshing, simple. And I think just the ultra space you meet some pretty cool people, I think, and you hear some stories, and there's just everyday ordinary people just struggling, doing it tough. You see them at whatever, kilometre 50, or I remember my first 100 running the Feral 100 last year, and I was running with some of the fellas that started doing the miler, and they started at midnight, and I started at 6 a.m. And I was probably 6-7 hours in, and they'd been running for a really long time, and I just was so much in awe of what they had achieved so far, and they were struggling, and you could see it. I'm like, you guys are incredible. You've come so far. Look at what you're doing. And I just think I have so much respect for the people you see on the trails. I guess it's probably a side of human nature you don't probably get to see day to day in our everyday lives. I think that makes the sport pretty cool, pretty special.
Yeah, 100%. There's certainly nothing like when you're struggling, someone coming past and telling you how good of a job you're doing and being super upbeat.
It's probably really annoying, but it takes their mind off the suffering, even if it's God, I wish that chick would shut up.
No, exactly. No, it's always appreciated, I think. Sometimes in the dark places it isn't necessarily, but I think it's good to have people like yourself out there being chatty and having a smile on their face, because this is what we're doing it for. We're doing it for fun. But Mike, how about your experience, mate? So obviously we talked about MRU, and you had a kind of big plans for Feral Pig. You were also there last year, but in the 50. And I think you had probably one of the worst experiences of your life in terms of maybe I don't know if it was nutrition or hydration, what went wrong there, but I think you were in some pretty dark places kind of relatively early on in that race.
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing with ultras and trail running in general. I think is that you can do all the training but each race throws something up different. It was a really, really hot day. And, I had, as we're talking about nutrition plans, I had that kind of all fairly dialed. And I thought that I'd be able to just do that really, really easily. I'd been doing a lot of my training probably very early morning, because I do get out quite early in the morning where it's a lot cooler. The Feral Pig day got up to about 29 or 30 degrees, and it starts at midday. And that 50K starts off pretty hot. I sometimes don't hold myself back, and I try and hang on to people at the front, which is something I'm trying to get better at, is just kind of running my own race. But probably just went out a little bit too hard. So my heart rate and just the heat probably got to me a little bit. And once the thing with your gut, and when you're trying to do probably high carb, where in my races I probably usually above 85 to 90 grams of carbs an hour. When you get hot, your kind of gut starts to shut off because you're sweating lots, and your body kind of starts to divert blood elsewhere. So that's one of the first things that starts to go. I was able to kind of for the first hour and a half feel pretty well, but I made a mistake at the first aid station where I was expecting the fluid that they had to be probably more diluted than what it was. And I was drinking about just over a liter an hour. And so I think when I did my maths, I probably had about maybe 160 or 170 grams of carbs within like an hour period. And so, I got past the second aid station and I wasn't feeling too flash, and I was just trying to push through. And then, it all ended up on the side of the trail. And, when it's 30 degrees at 2:00 in the afternoon and you've got another 30 odd Ks to run, you kind of look at it on the ground and you go, my day's pretty much over, because you're already in such a hole for hydration, and for the carbs, because it's just all lost. So I was able to take a little bit more down after that, because it does make you feel a little bit better. But I was just so deep in a hole that I had another spew at the next aid station, and had to sit down and have some hydrolyte before the aid station person would let me leave. And kind of, it was a bit of it was just genuinely the hardest thing that I've ever done. I think I was like, I think crying by the end, like I was just like done with this. There was I think some spot fires out in the distance. So I was hoping that when I got to the last aid station that there was going to be bushfires and that they would have to pull me from the race, because I don't like to quit. But it's with these things, I think you can get it's very disappointing, and it's a weird experience, because I think I came sixth, and everyone is like, oh great, that's such a great result, and just did such a great job for 50 Ks. And it's hard when you're not happy with your own result, as much as everyone else can think it is a great result. But you learn from these things, and it's stuff that you can kind of take on to your next training block and to your next race. So, I guess fast forward to UTA 50. I was able to have a much stronger performance. I was able to fuel really well throughout the whole thing. And just, I was able to, I'm learning to be able to push myself harder in the back end stages of these races, because I think, unlike maybe Vic, who sounds like she's able to push really hard and for these really long periods, I'm probably more, that's not come naturally to me. I think I get to kind of 30 or 40 Ks and my legs feel like they're going to fall off. And I've done a lot of work in my training on trying to build my leg tolerance up so that I can make these longer distances a little bit more. My body can cope with it a little bit more, which is probably why I've more focused on some of the shorter stuff in the last year. I think after Margs, where I was doing a lot of walk running towards the end of it, I kind of said, hey, let's just take a step back and do nothing over 50 Ks for the next year. And then while we build up the body's tolerance to it.
Yeah, pretty smart, mate. Not everybody, some people will have an experience and then just butt their heads against a wall for 2 more years until it sticks or falls apart. But and it's really easy in the trail space, because I think, and I probably got caught into that when I signed up for Margaret River, is it's like, let's just do the longest one possible. And so a lot of people, they see these races and, well, I'm going to go do UTA or this race. If I'm going to do it, I might as well just do the longest one so I get the full experience. And I think that's where I just had to kind of go, no, you can still have these quote unquote shorter distances, even though 50 Ks isn't short. And you can kind of build up to it from there. But I think that is,
in the ultra and the trail space, the really big distances, 100k and 100 mile, are probably a little bit more glorified than some of these shorter ones. But I think that is also changing a little bit in the landscape now, where you do see some of the big trail runners running some of the short distances too. Like the guy, like the field in the UTA 50 was absolutely stacked with some pretty accomplished athletes. Like the guy who won, Dan Jones, he runs a lot of 100-mile stuff. Ruth Croft and stuff like that. They do run some of the bigger stuff, but they also do the smaller things as well.
Yeah, cool. I mean, how was I guess it's probably a question to both of you. Like UTA is kind of probably is one of the bigger races on the calendar for Australia. Like how was the event? Was it everything that you expected it to be? And I mean, I think was it the year before it got cancelled because of the heat or the bushfires? I think halfway through the race.
I think that was GP. I think that was GPT.
Oh, that was GP. Sorry, it was too, because I'm just thinking of what Shane had run. So like, how was that experience at UTA, given like the landscape's incredible there? I saw some posts from you, Michael, like in the days leading up, like still haven't seen the Three Sisters because it was pretty foggy out there.
Well, I went across with my dad, and because he shouted me at the trip because he's recently retired and he did the 11K and had a great result. So I thought we'll go across for the week and I can run on the courses and soak up the Blue Mountains for a week or so. And I think we got in on the Monday and it was I don't think we saw the Three Sisters till Wednesday, so it was pretty foggy. But it's an awesome the whole experience is run so well. The event village, all the course markings. I mean, the big thing with trail running is sometimes the courses can have issues with the way they're marked, but not once did I ever have to worry that I was going the right or the wrong way or anything like that. There was multiple race distances across the kind of whole week from like Thursday till Sunday. So you could go down to the event village and, barrack people through the finish line. I think me and my dad, we went back on the Sunday and we celebrated for the last runner of the 100K, which was really, really cool to see some of those final runners come across, which I think also kind of just everyone's in their own head about their own story, their own process, and it is really cool to sometimes go to these events and just see how hard some of these people are pushing themselves over these 24 plus hours, and it's not always glamorous, but they just push it through, and whether or not you're finishing in first or last, it means a lot to everyone, which is pretty cool. But the whole event, I'd definitely do it again.
Yeah, awesome. How about you, Vic? Did it kind of exceed your expectations of what was going to happen on race day?
Yeah, I probably the same as Mike, actually. Share absolutely everything he said. I would agree. I think I didn't know what to expect. I guess my events leading up to that, I'd only done Margs, which was brilliant, and Ferrell, which was also brilliant. And UTA, obviously, I felt traveling interstate is probably going to be a bigger thing. And then learning that it was one of the 4 majors for UTMB, it was impressive. There was obviously a lot of people. I think there was maybe, 8,000 or so runners over the weekend for the various events. And people had come from all over the place. There were international runners, a lot of elite runners, professional runners. I think it was certainly impressive. But it comes back to, I think my favourite things were, again, like Mike said, like just watching the people across the finish line, and those people that are out there the longest. It's like, what an achievement! And you could just see it on their face. It's like pretty special seeing, people cross. I think, and even we went back. My kids did the kids race the following day as well, and they were still just appreciating that. We had started, I think, 5 o'clock the morning before. And the kids had done their race, and there were still 100K runners that I started with were still out there running.
Wow.
And watching them finish, I was like, hats off. Isn't that incredible? That's just, something. So I guess that's probably a lot with all the ultra events, but UT particularly was, very well organised, very impressive. Absolutely beautiful part of the world.
Totally. you got to have massive respect for people who are like kind of back of the pack runners. Like Simon and I paced the marathon at Perth a couple of years ago for the 4 hour 45 group, and both of us have run under a 3 hour marathon, and to then have to do that, it actually was probably one of the hardest marathons I've ever done in my life. So yeah, massive respect. And then if you're doing it over like that amount of elevation, it is truly like remarkable. Yeah.
And because even in the marathon, it's not like these people are pushing any less hard than, you know, the people up the front. So they're still giving it their all, and their effort is still there. It's the same as everyone else at the front. It's
exactly.
So yeah, definitely a big lot of mental fortitude for some of those people at the back.
Yeah, probably harder than most of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. So
all right. So Transcend, Saturday the 22nd of August. So Vicky, what have you signed up for Transcend?
I'm doing the 65K.
All right. So what does training look like? What has training been like so far, and what's training going to look like in the weeks and the days leading up to Transcend?
Yeah, good question. When I've done an event, I have like this 1 month recovery period. So I'm only being 3 and a bit weeks out. I'm still recovering, which sounds ridiculous, but it's hard because I feel great. I really want to run, but I've been reined in, so I'm not allowed to run as much as I would like. So because I think I made the mistake. Everything's learning, isn't it? I think after Feral last year, I felt so good. I was running like the following week, and then of course, I then had all these niggles and problems and had injuries. So I've learnt my lesson, and I'm doing this 1 month sort of like easing back into running. So right now I'm being pretty lazy actually, not running so much, but I'm doing like pool running, like the deep water running, or cycling, probably the main two things. And then strength is like probably more just mobility stuff really, not really weighted or anything. So I guess for training in general for me is usually like 3 to 4 week cycles, which include 2 or 3 week builds, and then the recovery week. Although I feel like that really goes to plan because I've always got like some part of my body that's like giving me grief. But that's the plan. I'm a morning person. So like Mike said, similar to Mike, I go and get up and I try and get up before the household's awake and just get a session in. So that's every day I'm doing something. But it's either usually running one day and then some sort of like the strength the next day, and just alternate. And then, strength is nothing too serious. It's usually just my physio exercises, which is just rehabbing my failing body parts. Or like strengthening the parts that need strengthening. Although I'm hoping once, I come out of this recovery block and when everything's feeling good again, I'd probably like to ramp that up a little bit more and focus a bit more on that, because obviously I've got some big goals ahead that I want to work towards and get stronger for. And then in terms of runs, I think obviously there's always the long run on the weekend, which in a recovery week might be maybe only a couple of hours. And then towards the end of getting closer to a race, at the end of a build, it might be maybe 6 hour run. And then maybe with a back-to-back. So the day before or after, I might do a couple of hours as well, just for extra time on legs. And my weekday runs might be 2 or 3 a week, alternating days. So it might be, 45 minutes in a recovery week up to maybe an hour and a half at the end of a build perhaps. And they coming into Transcend, these will definitely be like stairs, hills, suffering, trying to get stronger for that. Like long runs, always try and get to the hills if I can, get on trails. If I can for races, I like to go to where the race is. So like for Feral, I'll try and get to the bib. Transcend, because it's so exclusive, you can't train on it, so you can only get on it for the event. So unless Peruna opens, which would be great, but I think it's still closed at the moment, So just getting out to wherever I can really to train for that. Just try and find some hilly places to train on. That's kind of how training looks.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so do you have a coach for all this, or are you self-coached, or are you looking things up, or how are you putting this all together?
I cannot take any credit for this. I think if I was a self-coach, I would just blow up. I think that's why I was never very good before now. I'm very fortunate. I have an amazing friend who's my coach. He's a busy person with a lot going on, but makes time to like check in with me and kind of tailor sessions to what he thinks I need, which changes a lot because I feel like there's always something that's like maybe a niggle or I don't know, some part of my body working against me. So I'm very fortunate to have his help. And so I try not to argue too much so that he doesn't ditch me. But so far, so good.
Very good.
Yeah.
And what about, so you talk about those double days. I know Chris and I have talked about, potentially having to do some sort of double day type sessions as he prepares for the 65K. But how does your body actually pull up with big mileage over 2 days?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I guess I probably don't think much of it at the time, but I guess when you think about it, like on a 6-hour run, I could cover 50 Ks or something. And then the next day you're going out and doing another 21, which for most people, any one of them in itself is an event that you probably need a bit of a recovery from, but you're doing it back to back and then doing it again next week. So that's a good question. I'm meant to be putting my feet up and trying to rest, but the reality is I'm mostly chasing hits and doing things that I probably shouldn't. So, I mean, I do think it's important to like eat, drink, and like try and definitely get your nutrition kind of right. But from a rest element, I probably definitely knock back on the strength work or any other things. And even as I get closer to races, like I usually like ride my bike to work, but I won't do that either because my body is just tired and I just don't want to overdo it.
Yeah. It's trying to function like a human being and parenting after the training runs that's the real training, isn't it?
So hard.
Very good.
I think that's the key to endurance.
Yeah. It's not the long run. It's the parenting that happens afterwards. All right, we'll move on to you, Mike. Last year you did the 28K. You're doing the 40K this year. What's training looking like as you prepare for the 40K?
Yeah, so it's taking a step up to the 40K this year. Training for me, I do have a coach, Smithy and Smithy down at Double. He keeps me on the straight and narrow. But I am a bit of a training theory geek myself, so I'm a bit of a David Roche fanboy, and I kind of like to treat myself a bit like a science experiment at times. So I don't know if it annoys Smithy, but I like to have a little bit of input on my own coaching in terms of specific things. The good thing about that is he's really good at, I feel like it is kind of a bit of a partnership. The good thing about, obviously, is that he knows how to get people really, really fast. And then he kind of layers in the kind of specific training that I want to do as well for it. So probably some of the big key things that we do when we sit down to kind of outline a block is a few key sessions and probably the lead up. We do one thing that we incorporated before UTA is about 4 or 5 weeks out. We did a really big double back-to-back, like as Vic was talking about, where on the Saturday I'll do a pretty hefty kind of long run session with some hills, followed by like a pretty big steady long run the day after, which I think again is helping with just the muscular resilience over the long distance. And then probably the other big key session that I do them periodically, but I do a really big session about 3 or 4 weeks out, which is a big downhill session. So there's a lot of science around heavy downhills on fatigue resistance and conditioning your quads for the vert in the race, and your body can adapt to it really quickly. You don't need to do a terrible amount of it because it will break you down if you're doing it all the time. But if you're doing it kind of every 2 to 3 weeks and then a couple of big key sessions in the lead up to a race, then it can get your body ready. and then apart from that, since UTA, I've had a few weeks off. I'm kind of starting to ramp it up now. I had a little bit of a foot niggle, which has come good. So I had to take it easy for the first few weeks. And yeah, so I think I start my first session back tomorrow, which is 800s and 400s. So that'll be fun at probably six o'clock in the morning in the wet. But yeah, so big key focus on for me is I do like to make sure that I keep my speed up and making sure that I'm improving that speed while also getting as much vert in as possible. So I guess how that's structured is, a couple of sessions a week and a long run on a weekend. I also do a bit of heat training. So like on a Monday recovery, I'll try and get into the sauna when I can, and maybe a couple other sauna sessions throughout the week. And just trying to get in as much volume as possible around that and just listen to the body, really. So
yeah, sounds good. Was there any learnings that you took on from last year's 28K that you'll look to try and maybe change things up with training heading into the 40K?
Probably the big learning, I think, for me and probably helps you with leg 4 as well, Simon, is that it does look and because that was the first leg of 28K, so I thought I'd be able to run it really fast because it looks quite flat on the map, but it's very up and down. So that's just one thing that I'd probably just kind of think about. But probably the big thing that I am incorporating a little bit more into my training this block is I want to get a better climbing and just working my vert, because I think on flats and downhills I'm really good, but I think I tend to struggle on a lot of the uphills. So I'm starting to incorporate some uphill treadmill and into my training program, which isn't glamorous, but it's just something that was going to help me with my kind of efficiency going uphill, so that I'm not spiking my heart rate too much on those climbs.
Sounds good, mate. All right, well, we'll get into some quick fire questions. We'll start with you, Vic. Favorite trail to train on?
It's hard because I feel like when you're meant to go for a 2-hour run or a 6-hour run, you can't really do the same trail. So it depends. I think it depends for me what I'm meant to be doing. If it's a long run, I tend to go to the bib just because it's pretty long. I've got plenty of space there to do out and back. Or if I need water, I can park at Disco and do out and back refill sort of thing. So long runs, I do kind of probably tend to go to the bib. It's probably most convenient from where I live. I unfortunately am not lucky enough to live in the hills. Otherwise, it'd be like everything on my doorstep. So I've got to drive, which is fine. But it just means I try not to take too much time away on weekends any more than what I already am. So otherwise, I know John Forest is a pretty nice place to run around for the shorter runs as well. Good elevation, nice different terrain. So I enjoy that as well.
And you said that you're a morning person. Is that out of necessity or out of joy and preference?
Both, I think. Yeah. I just function better in the mornings. By the evenings, about now, I'm slowly slipping down. So mornings, I just, better. And I think you just, it's just part of the routine. You just get up, go, get it done. The world is quiet. It's peaceful. I don't know. Even if I've got my dorky headlamp on, because, I'm a trail runner, I've embraced the dorkiness side of trail running. So I've got my headlamp on, I'm running around the bush. It's kind of nice. Yeah, it's a nice time of day to be out, I think.
Yeah. How about yourself, Mike? So favorite trail to run on? And are you a morning person out of necessity, or do you have a preference for any other time of day?
I'm a morning person now by choice, but I wasn't before I had kids. I used to stay up till 2 a.m. and then sleep till 10 kind of guy. Yep. But then you have kids and you can't do that anymore. So I do just try and get out of the household before everyone's awake, same as Vic. And my favourite trails to get out on, I do like getting out to like Helena Valley and John Forest, depending on how lazy I am, because if I can't be bothered putting a loop together, because I don't like running the same trails either, so I like to do like a little loop on Strava. But then sometimes if I'm feeling a bit lazy, I like going out in the bib, because I know you can get some really good single track and you can just do an out and back. It's all marked. You don't have to worry about getting lost. And Wollongong is quite close to me, but it's very steep and very rocky and a bit. It's not always the most enjoyable running there. So if I just need a lot of like just straight vert, then I'll go to Wollongong because it's close. But if I want some single track and stuff, I'll usually go to the Bib or John Forest.
Sounds good, mate. Yeah.
I think my first ever, I decided like at some point when I was training for Sydney a couple of years ago that I was going to do like trail runs every 3 weeks or so to just get some elevation in the legs. And my first ever trail run that I just mapped on my own was at Wollongong. And it started in the dark. It was probably, 5:30 start. I had my headlamp on. I was running. I eventually got to this section where it opened right up and the sun had come up, and I heard this noise, and there was 3 wild pigs like staring at me, like making noises and grunting and like kind of ready to go. And I was like, "This isn't what it's all about, is it?" Like, I don't want to fight pigs.
They don't tell you that.
I haven't been back out there since.
I did go out to Wollongong once, and I again mapped a little thing on Strava. And early in the morning, I was going up this hill on this single track, and I spent probably 45 minutes of my run just clearing spiderwebs on this, but I'd gone too far that I couldn't go back down, and I'd had it all on my watch, so I knew I had exactly the amount that I wanted to go on that run for mapped out. So I just had to kind of just trudge through, but just every 10 meters there's one of those big spider webs with it sitting right in the middle, and you're like, "Oh, stick, get it out of the way." And, yeah,
it's a hard sell for me as someone that doesn't do trail.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to want to do any trail running after this.
No. Roads are boring, trails are better.
Yeah. Let's get the excitement levels back up then. All right, let's go with we'll stick with you still, Mike. Trail gear. What's your favorite piece of equipment, or what's an essential for you when you're going out?
I'd say in a race, it's definitely the T8 shorts. They, as well as having the vest, they just give you so many pockets and extra access and make it just really, really easy. So for anyone who hasn't seen them, it's basically they're really nice, lightweight running shorts, and they've kind of got like an inbuilt waistband into it. So you can have drink bottles, gels, your phone, all sorts of different things in there, and they are definitely, my favourite piece of kit. They cost enough as well, so they'd have to be.
So how much can you squeeze in those shorts in terms of stuff?
Well, I can fit like a full I can fit a full 600.
I don't know why you're laughing.
I can just school kid stuff.
Just thoughts. Yep.
Yeah, hogwatch. I can fit a full 600ml flask at the front, probably four or so gels on each side, plus all like the gel rubbish. It's got like a little spot at the back for your phone, and it's got little straps on the back if you have poles as well. So
sick. All right, and how about yourself, Vic? What's your favourite piece of kit or gear?
Yeah, I mean, for what's meant to be like a free, cheap sport, right? There's a lot of gear.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to get the trail shoes. You've got to, there's like lots of bits and pieces. But I guess a lot of the time I do run with my headphones, my shocks, because not that I often have music or anything playing, but sometimes, like, just if I want it. Like in races, I don't really use it. But for like long runs, sometimes it's nice to have the option if you're feeling like, oh, this is a bit of a slog, I just need like a little pick-me-up, and I can put on some tunes or audiobook, podcast, whatever it is. Yeah, little lady in my head that talks to me. And then, it's like, because you haven't got enough voices in your head already, right? So, she's telling me how far I've run, reminding me when I need to eat, reads to me, sings to me. Like, she's great.
Very good, very good. What What's your go-to trail shoes?
My trail shoes. I run in Brooks Catamounts. Yeah.
Do you have like variety that you work through, or is that's just simply your go-to?
For like day to day, like weekday runs, I'll run in Brooks glycerins. They're just like nice and cushioned clouds that are nice, and like I'm not running on technical trails, so they're enough. But I quickly learned when I did my first Perth Trail series, like first ever trail run, over the summer series last year, that I needed trail shoes. I can't remember which one it was. I was just like slippery gravel rocks, and like people are just flying down, and I'm like sliding down. So I'm like, yeah, I feel like trail shoes are essential. So no, I only use them on for the weekend long runs usually when I'm on trails.
Sounds good. All right, and then we'll move on to the last of the quickfire questions. So in the questionnaire we sent out, we asked what makes you a weapon of warp. So we'll start with you, Vic. So you wrote down the smiling assassin. Talk us a little bit about that.
I don't really know. I don't feel like I probably am a weapon of warp, but I am probably just annoyingly positive, maybe a little too chatty in races, which may make me like an irritating weapon that could be used for evil, perhaps. But I like to think that I use it for good. And I think that's like just that positive headspace is probably just what gets me through the long runs, really, the tough moments, which, we all kind of come up against when you're out there for hours. And I guess, using that to like maybe try and send positive vibes to other people as well when they're working hard and looking like they could use a little lift. But like I said, like even if it just irritates the crap out of them, at least it's like taking their mind off, the big hill that they're trying to run up. So I don't know.
Sounds good. And then for you, Mike, in the run sheet, I've got Daddy Smithy here. So I don't know if that's Chris writing Daddy Smithy or whether it was yourself, but explain a little bit more about that.
I think Mike put in that he might be the best looking bloke that this podcast has ever had, ever since Smithy said that was his answer to the same question at Perth last year.
Fair enough.
Well, if you've seen some of Smithy's old photos from his duathlon days, it's not that hard to beat. So, but no, I think probably I'm probably a weapon of warp, just of I guess delusional ambition. I think I just think I probably think can be better than what I am. So maybe that means I can run faster than what I can, and I think you just give it a crack and full send, and that's probably what I do. Just give it a red hot crack.
No,
I love that.
Totally. Yeah. You gotta have a little bit of delusion about you for something like this.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, look, guys, as I said at the top, this is my first ultra distance race. I've done the opposite of what you've suggested, Mike, and I've gone from running marathons to I'm going to go and run the farthest distance possible. So, I think after I got to the finish line last year and I was sitting there and we saw Dane run up the thing and I said to Shane, you can lock me in, guarantee me in for next year. And then I got to January and I was like, I've already committed. So I guess I'm running the 65. So looking forward to it though. Do you guys have any tips for me or for anyone else that might be, running their first ultra distance at Transcend this year?
I think probably just practice. Probably the fueling is a big one. You can undo your race by not being able to fuel enough. So practicing exactly what you can do on race day in your training. So probably good for you, Chris, when you're doing some of your long runs is just doing a full dress rehearsal of full pack on, out for 3 or 4 or 5 hours and just doing exactly the amount of carbs that you plan on doing for race day, because you can think, I know I made probably this mistake as well, is that you can think that you're fine for 2 or 3 hours and it's just going to you're just going to be able to keep doing the same thing that you did for 2 or 3 hours. But once you kind of go above 3, 4, 5 hours, you do start to hit a wall of gut fatigue and nausea and all these different things that you have to troubleshoot. So just practicing your fueling, I think, would probably be the biggest one, because that's going to be your biggest limiter.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the one of the things about my trail runs is that, and most of my runs in that fact, is that I always want to do a loop. I hate doing out and backs. And so like when you are out running for 5 hours, which I've done a couple of like 4.5 hour runs in the like a couple of months back now, but kind of will be building back up to that. Like I did start to kind of loop back past where I had left the car so that I could pick up more water, because I think, you know, you can only carry so much water, and, you know, it's just mimicking what you would do at an aid station, I suppose, is being able to refuel. So I think that is something definitely to take on. And what I don't do at the moment is I mean, right now I don't take on as many carbs as I plan to take on during a race. But I, obviously, like a marathon, I would try and get into some specific sessions to train that, train the gut. Because doing it for 3 hours is one thing, but doing it for, you know, probably 8 hours is a different thing altogether. So appreciate that. How about you, Vic? Anything you want to throw my way?
Yeah, I think Mike's tips were awesome. But I think you've done the most important thing, which is signing up. I feel like that's the biggest, bravest step to take, right? And then the rest will all fall into place now. I think you've just I just think you just got to keep moving. There's only one way to the finish, right? It's like forward. So just even if you're just walking, just keep moving. And I guess the advice I was given was to walk the hills. And that's what I do. So if there's a hill, and I feel like the best part about races is you get to a hill and everyone just starts walking it, everyone ahead of you, and you're like, oh, thank God. And it's like, it feels like I can walk now. Everyone else is doing it. So I feel like definitely don't feel you have to run the hills, because you'll just burn out too quickly if you try and leg it up them. So just cruise, chat, make friends.
Yeah. Well, I'm
okay to cry as well.
That's true.
Well, I usually save my crying for the finish line, but based on some of the responses to this questionnaire, I might be crying at leg 4. So we'll have to wait and see. Dream races. So, Vic, was before qualifying for CCC, was that a dream race for you, or did you have something else in mind?
I don't think I really had a dream race, to be honest. I feel like there's so many races that I wanted to do, including local ones, that I hadn't really looked ahead to what I would want to strive for, I suppose. I was just happy, and I think in ultras, there's only so many races you can do in a year, really. So it kind of limited. UTMB CCC wasn't really on my radar. Maybe it would have been in a few years, perhaps, or so. I guess it probably is the dream race, because, I mean, outside of WA, I think the Alps is one of my most favourite places in the world, and combine it with running really far would both be horribly difficult and amazing all at once. So I think it's probably, for me, that's, probably a dream race.
Yeah, well, you're going to be living out someone else's dream, that's for sure. It's pretty cool. Mike, you've put Western States here, obviously like really highly regarded race and highly kind of covered as well, like the coverage each year from the race, like from the actual race like coverage on YouTube or wherever it might be, is always exceptional there. What is it about Western States that kind of attracts you?
I guess I'm a big sports fan in terms of just following different sports, basketball, football, whatever it is. And I guess now that I love running, I enjoy following like the trail scene as well. So, and you've got UTMB, which is obviously one of like the couple of world championships of it, but then you've also got Western States, which is probably one of the hardest races to get into, but also the most competitive, because the top 10 in males and females will return from the year prior. But then it's also the Golden Ticket Series, where there's all the best runners around the world have to win their way into the race. The only other way that you can get in is by just getting in through the lottery on qualifying races. So, the kind of top 10, 20 of the field are the kind of, the best, some of the best in the world. They're either at UTMB or they're at Western States. And I think, if just being there and being part of it, even though I wouldn't be even close to the people at the front, I think would be just awesome experience, just to be part of that kind of weekend.
Yeah, for sure. plenty of river crossings there from what I saw, but usually it's not quite as wild as what the Avon was last year.
Well, the guy last year took a snorkel with him to snorkel across the snorkel across the river. Maybe you could have done that, Simon.
There could be a lot of rain this year. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. All right. Well, yeah, I guess we've kind of touched on this already. Maybe we know what distances you're racing, but Mike, second, I think. Well, you first placed male, but second overall in the 28K last year. Is that right?
Yeah. I got there's my trophy. First male. So, but no, Petra smoked me. She's so quick. So second overall.
Petra is a name that we say like almost every week on the podcast when we're reading our results. So no surprises there. I guess, was it like for you, did that kind of first place come as a surprise? And do you think you're going to set some expectations for yourself in the 40K this year to maybe hop on the podium?
I mean, I thought, it's hard to know with these races because you could just have a whole bunch of absolute guns turn up and smoke you. So I've gotten a lot better at just focusing on my own result and being happy with a performance rather than a position, whether or not. But I'm also competitive, so I do like that side of it. That when you're going out to a race, you know, if you can kind of hang on to people, or if you can overtake people, obviously you get that real big buzz towards the end of a race when you are the stronger runner overtaking people. But yeah, I think for me, the performance would be under 4 hours this year, which is pretty quick. I think the top runners in like the 65K, for instance, I think they're kind of running those kind of times across like the whole distance. But I think for me, under 4 hours would be pretty happy. And if that lands me close to the top, then I'd be up for the fight if there's anyone else around there.
Yeah, right.
But it could also be land me 10th. Could also be land me 10th, and I'd be happy with that if I go under 4. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, we're talking about 1,600 meters of elevation in the 40K, so. That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. No doubt you're going to put in a performance there. On the 22nd, Vic, you're a first timer, I think, to Transcend. What have you heard, and what are you looking forward to most? And do you have any expectations for yourself, having not run the course before?
Yeah, I haven't done it before. I'm really looking forward to it. I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's like trails that we can't access usually, so that's pretty cool. It's got a good elevation for a Perth race, which is great. I love the idea of the party at the end where everyone's in fancy dress. I think I've saw a video with glow sticks featuring music, like how fun. I think that sounds really cool. I don't know, I feel like if the weather's terrible, it would add that little extra awesomeness as well, like the mudslide and stuff would be pretty cool, add an extra element of fun. I suppose I don't have a lot of confidence in my running, but getting good results has helped build my confidence a bit, and I guess getting into Triple C certainly. So I feel like in all the races, the ultras I've done to date, I haven't really tried as hard as I could, so I'm like hoping maybe I could like cut back on the fun maybe, or the chatting, and maybe pick up the pace and maybe try and do a bit more of what Mike's trying to do, and like, I don't know, push myself harder, and just see what I can get out of myself. So that would be good to see. And maybe opposite to the advice I gave you, maybe not walk so many hills, which is what I've done today, which has been great. But maybe I feel like I've always got too much left in the tank at the end of all the races I've done. So maybe it would be great to finish feeling like completely wrecked, like I've really given it everything. So maybe I'll give that a crack this time. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, maybe you just have to sign up to a 300-kilometre race.
That is what I was thinking, but everyone else seems to be against that right now. My family and friends are like, okay, we'll just work on the 100.
Yeah, no, very good. No, exciting. Hopefully you do get a bit of weather. I mean, it always makes it more fun when you're on the trail and there's a bit of rain about, kind of makes it feel a bit more special, doesn't it?
Things get really dirty, muddy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, awesome. Simon, sign us out, mate.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Vic, for sharing, your stories, your journeys, and your plans for Transcend coming up on the 22nd of August. All the best for your training over the next few weeks. And in a couple of weeks' time, on the next episode of Trail to Transcend, we will be speaking with Tarkine athletes Ben Leeson, winner of the 2026 Margaret River Ultra, along with Anna Kakil, who took 6th place in the 22K at the 2026 Donna Double Golden Trail National Series. Oh, that's a mouthful. Listeners, you can find us on Instagram at WA Running Pod. Our email address is warunningpodcast@gmail.com, and our Strava group is Warp. Vic and Mike, great to chat. We'll speak to you soon. Chris, see you soon, mate. And for everyone else, we'll catch you next time on the Trail to Transcend training series. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Catch you later.
Thank you.
I was having a look at the leg split records of last year's Transcend. And I'm looking at leg 1, the fastest team was crap. I was looking at leg 3, the fastest team was indeed crap. And looking at leg 5, the fastest team in leg 5 was also crap. So feels like we've got some records to break this year for the Warp team. Congratulations, Crap, for winning your respective legs. Didn't win though. Maybe you guys can sign up for this year.